Hey there guys, Conceptual Concept 6.9 here in the beautiful Pacific Northwest, and today I wanted to go over my KP104 Kalashnikov USA. I'm 1,000 rounds in so far. Really been digging this gun. Kalashnikov USA, rest in pieces. Love the company you started out as, hate the company you turned into. They've got a really storied past, but one thing they did do was they brought Russian-made blueprint guns to the U.S. civilian market, which is really, really rad. And it's something I wish we had more of. But I've got about 1,000 rounds on this gun. It has proved to be fairly reliable, and I've been really enjoying it. So let's get into the feels, how it shoots, and then also I'm going to get into how I have this set up. Got about 300 rounds through this Sureshot armament chassis now, so I can speak a little more with a little more authority to it. So let's get into it. I've had this gun for, I want to say, about 8-9 months. I actually got it on the last batch. I got it a few weeks before KUSA shut down their website, RIP, and I've been running it ever since. So let's kind of go over the overview. This is a chrome lined version, which is pretty rad. It is direct blueprint copy of the AK104 from the Russians. The 100 series line, and I SBR'd it. So I went ahead and slapped one of these 100 series stocks on here, and I find I really like this short length of pull. Maybe should run a longer stock, but this is what works for me. So the recoil impulse on this is fairly light for a 7.62 by 39. My Arsenal, for reference, does get a little less recoil, but overall this guy is no slouch. I'm able to shoot it pretty fast. I'll show you in the shooting portion. So past that, the trigger is actually really good. I would say in terms of just a bone stock trigger, it's almost G2-esque. The G2 was a little smoother than this, but I mean, the G2 also wore out really quick. All right, let's try some drills with this thing and see how it does. I'm gonna do a Mozambique there and then hit the seal at roughly 30 yards. .193. This build is pretty slick. I'm really digging it. I am getting some walk off on this. Luckily, the gas tube is free float, so it's actually not connecting to it at all. See, do we have enough for a bill drill? No, I've got 4 rounds left. Let's do one more of those just because. See if we can get under 193. Ah! It would have been 168 if I didn't throw that shot. Now, one thing I do want to note is normally I put a couple mags through this. I'd be getting some serious heat dispersion on the handguard. This guy is still cool to the touch. The only place I feel any warmth, which, ow, that's hot, is where the handguard retainer is. So, free float does make a difference. It is keeping the system pretty cool, keeping my hands cool as well. Like it so far. So let's go tip to butt on this 12.4 inch AK. Just go over all the different stuff I've installed on here. From last time, I still have this Ukrainian blast forward device. It's been doing really, really well. I have noticed there's a little more back pressure with this versus the booster, but that's just implied with these blast forward devices. Past that, the newest addition to this would be the Sureshot armament chassis. I'm gonna say chassis because, again, deal with it. But this has been holding up incredibly well. I've got about 300 rounds through it. I know we have some history. There are some people who love it. There are some people who hate it. This guy here has done pretty well so far. It fit like a glove, didn't have any issues. There are some reviewers that say it's not great, and there are some reviewers that say it's the bee's knees. And a lot of that, I think, is due to the AK market being not exactly plug and play. The AK market, unfortunately, AK is the most prolific rifle in the world, and there's small tolerance variances between each and every one. So some people might be like, oh my gosh, doesn't fit quite as well as I'd like it to. One of the issues I've heard a lot is the rotational issues. People saying, oh, you know, all that's keeping it in are these little screws internally. Yeah, there's that, and they're worried about it rotating, which you've got this little block here, and I'll tell you, this block has less side-to-side give than a BCM handguard does. So a lot of people talk smack on that, and they get really caught up on it. And yes, you might have to worry about some rotation. Now, those screws so far on this are holding incredibly well, but depending on your specific AK, will it hold up well on yours? The other thing that people do talk about on this is, oh, it's a free float, so it increases accuracy. Now, with this AK in specific, I can tell you it really didn't increase accuracy on it. I'm getting about the same groupings I was getting before, between 3 and 4 MOA, which is kind of what I expect out of an AK. So nothing's really improved, nothing's gone downhill. One thing you'll notice in my accuracy testing as well is that I did have to reshoot. Part of that was I ran just a red dot for the first groupings, and I decided to add the magnifier. I shrunk my groups in half. I was worried I was having some accuracy issues with this, like some other people have reported, but it wasn't that. It was just me not shooting that great with just open eyes and a 2 MOA red dot. But moving back, I am running an Aimpoint T1 and a Holosun magnifier behind it. This back section, I've gone over this before, but this back section is a separate piece and it is not designed to hold zero. So Sureshot Armament Group tells you to run a magnifier instead and only mount things you want to zero on the front portion of the rail. And it has been holding zero. Zeroed it a while back and it hasn't shifted at all. My accuracy is the same. What's to complain about it? The one thing I do want to note is this thing stays stupid cold. Compared to my handguards that use the handguard retainer, this thing keeps way cooler. So I really like this chassis system overall. I hate to say it, unless something fails, and I'll post on it if it does, I'd recommend it. I like it a lot. One other thing, I'll roll into some footage, but this hobnob here from Texas Weapon Systems, the screws are coming out over time. I've got about 800 rounds with this hobnob and the screws were backing out. I actually removed the top screw for the shooting footage today, just because it was walking out under every shot. And I've reinstalled it since then, but hobnob, just check your screws regularly. I would recommend painting them just to make sure that you're not getting any movement on them. Yeah, that's basically the rifle. Let's get into some accuracy testing, and let's end with, if you find one, should you get one? All right, so we're gonna go ahead and accuracy test this KP104. We do have the Sureshot Armament Group chassis on here. I want to note this was about a 3 to 4 MOA rifle depending on ammo prior to putting the Sureshot on. Let's see if this free float rail increased accuracy at all, or whether it's the same or worse, because I've heard people getting worse accuracy after installing it as well. So let's just go ahead and test that out. So due to my stigmatism, I'm getting quite a bit of warp on the dot with the magnifier. So I'm taking the magnifier off, even though this is an Aimpoint. Still getting some warp. I'll probably be able to get better accuracy without it. All right, so that was Tula ammo, top left there. Oh, this thing's starting to walk off already. Man. Hobnob, what are you doing? I even Loctited that. All right, so now let's move on to the Tela ammo. I've been really impressed with this out of my other guns. Let's see how it performs out of this. Top right target here today. wanted to take my time with that one. That was Tele ammo. And now we're going to move on to the Hornady Black, just see how that does. That's going to be in the center. All right. Let's go check it out, see how we did. All right, so initially I thought something was wrong with the accuracy, but I've had a lot of caffeine today, and this is just how I'm shooting with the red dot without being able to center it. So I switched back to using the magnifier past this group. This was the Hornady Black. I would bet that it is easily within these 4, not this 5, but I wasn't using the magnifier. But I switched back to the magnifier. This guy on the bottom right here is with Tula ammo. That is easily a 4-inch group. If you discount the flyer, which was probably me down below, you're probably looking at about a 2 MOA group. And this guy here was the Tele ammo. Now, those are 2 rounds there. I don't know if you can see that. But without that flyer, you are looking at easily an 1.5-inch group there. Again, the flyers were probably me. All right, so as you saw in the accuracy testing, this is printing about 3 to 4 MOA. That was about what I was expecting out of it, and it delivered. I did not see a massive increase in accuracy running this, but I didn't see a decrease either, and I think this gives enough benefits to be willing to keep this Sureshot. This gun is incredibly cool. I enjoy it quite a bit. If you're into AKs and Russian small arms and you can find a KP104 or a KR104, one of the SBRs, jump on it, I'd say. I wouldn't pay crazy prices for it because I don't think this is really performing better than many of the other guns. But for a cloner build or for someone who just really likes the AK104, I would get this over the Palmetto. At this point, the Palmetto 100 series guns have proven to be riddled with issues. I have seen multiple go down. I have a 5.56 that's being sent off to Palmetto right now for repair, the 102. And I have a bunch of commenters that have said theirs went down as well. I just wouldn't buy one for a life-saving device. Now this guy here is holding up really well. It's reasonably accurate for an AK, and I'm really digging it. So yeah, if you can find one, get one, but don't pay crazy prices like I said before. Anyways, don't forget to go outside, enjoy nature's beauty, and eat that booty. All right guys?